All right. What is up, internet? Um, so today we're going to be trying a shoe for our guy Ted Lasso. I don't know if anyone has ever seen that show. Hopefully you have. It's a great show. It's fantastic. But we decided we were going to design a shoe specifically for Ted. And club, even though I know they don't exist, but we're having some fun. So, this is what we got. This right here is what we got. Let's kind of dive right in. So, let's see. One of the things that we're gonna start doing is we're gonna start with some color blocking, and then we'll get some colors and textures in here. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit, just tiny things that I'm seeing here before we get started. Just these tiny little things because they kind of bug me, right? So let's start with some colors here. We're gonna turn this guy into a reference layer. We're also gonna duplicate it, okay? One of the reasons why we're doing this is because the duplication is just so that we have the line art on top, so that when we color block it, right, we can throw, as many layers as we want underneath, and we'll be able to color block it, right? And then the reference layer is, I can do that, right? And it doesn't affect my other layers, right? But the reference layer has to go underneath. That's why we had to duplicate it instead of just throwing it on top and being like, okay, this is the reference layer. It has to be underneath. So that's why we did that. All right. So as you can see on the bottom of the screen here, we got some colors. I want to get them pulled up for myself so that I can make sure that we get them accurate here. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So we're gonna grab our black. Okay. Yep. So it's the black that we want. We're gonna just airbrush it up here. Jeez, why so small? What's going on? It's big. Holy cow. Okay, so that's the black that we want. All right, the yellow. Okay, that's our yellow. And as I said, you can find these on the bottom of the screen there. Okay, just got a white. I don't even know why I did that. And then our red is going to be D71920. Beautiful. Love it. Let's see, where'd the blue go? I'm looking at the wrong Richmond. That's hilarious. That is very awkward. They're really close though. FFD 459A. Man, don't you hate when you do something embarrassing live on stream, but then there's no one there to see it? All right. We want EA 0406. Whoops. 405. We want 0406. Okay. EA 040. Whoops. 0406. So a lot of you are probably wondering, why am I doing this now on stream instead of doing this beforehand? And that's a good question. One of the reasons why is because I do want you guys to see that there are lots of different ways to find colors. Not only on Procreate, but just on Photoshop, on, Illustrator, all that good stuff. There's lots of different ways to find color matching, right? One of them is hex codes, right? They use a specific language where letters and numbers mean certain things about hue, saturation, right? Blue, green, red, green, blue, all that sort of stuff, right? And so each one of those kind of has a different code for that sort of stuff, right? 0017 6F2. There's also things like Pantone where they have their own code, and then they also can, go back and name certain shades. And all that sort of stuff. But it's basically just different ways of telling the computer what you want color-wise, which is super nice, super handy, and you can always get exact shades. This is something, so E73. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so I got our colors up there too. They're there at the bottom of your screen. But yeah, let's get to work here. So we got our colors. We got our shoe. So now we're gonna start kind of experimenting with different things that we want to see. Okay. So if you notice on your screen here, we got our two kind of inspiration shoes, right? We got the Nike Pegasus and the other one, I can't remember what it's called at the moment. Oh, it's the Air Max. It's one of the old school Air Maxes. If you look real close at them, you'll notice that they kind of have a mesh upper that's covered, that has these leather or suede overlays. And so if looking at our guy here, right, we also have some of those, right? Let me just fix this line here, right? We decided that we wanted to do some of those as well. So we're going to, let me just fix this guy. Whoops. Fix this guy real quick. Oops. Inking. There we go. We're going to be doing the same thing here. What is going on? Here we go. We're going to be doing a very similar thing. We got kind of our leather overlays. Those are outlined in gray. And so kind of some of that negative space we're going to be filling with either like a white or a gray or some sort of an underlying color. It's probably going to be mesh. We always got to kind of keep the materials and stuff in mind. But Probably going to be doing mesh, something kind of similar. Let me pull something up here on the computer here. So, AFC Richmond in season 3, they kind of go towards this like half and half look on their kits, which is it's probably the better look in my opinion between the two jerseys. But season 1, right? They had these. These kits with kind of this blue stripe or this red stripe down the middle with the yellow accents. So I kind of want to emulate that because we built that into our shoe. Let me take you back to the shoe, right? I want to do that in red. Okay, so I'm gonna get my red, right? I'm gonna make sure I'm on the right layer, layer 4, and I'm gonna drag that red. Boop, right like that. Drag that red, boop, right like that. Right? Pretty simple, pretty cool, right? Kind of want to see how we feel about that. Looks pretty good so far, okay? I kind of want to emulate the jersey as much as I can. So I want a lot of blue. Oh my goodness. What's going on here? There we go. I'm struggling today, ladies and gents. Okay. So that means we got a line that is not filled properly. Okay. All right. So I'm liking this idea with this blue, right? Just bringing it in and having that kind of be our mesh underlay, which means all those spots right there and this part on the back. Okay, lighter blue. Okay, I'm more worried about getting the colors down at this point than I am about like the shades and how the material is gonna work. I kind of want to just get the colors down first, and then we'll mess with some other stuff here. Okay. Let's see. If we do gray for our leather suede pieces, at least those ones, and then we could go do something like a yellow on the back here, right? And then let's see how this navy looks up front. I don't know. It's not my favorite. Let's backtrack here a little bit. Let's take after our inspiration here. Hold on. Let's just do that. Okay. Let's take after our inspiration here. We're going to do gray underlays, right? Gray mesh. I like that idea. Okay. And then we could do a little bit of a darker gray, right? Just for these middle ones here, like so. Okay. All right. I actually kind of dig that. And then we can bring in the navy underneath. Actually, let's not do the navy underneath. So this is kind of some of the fun parts of design, right? Just throwing in the colors, seeing what works, what doesn't, right? And just kind of going from there. I think it's painfully obvious that needs to be blue right there, right? We might actually do something light blue there, and instead of this guy, we're gonna do this gray color that I really like as that piece. I still like the idea of doing, let's do navy on the back. Okay. And then okay. I think we got something going here. Still trying to figure out how to do this top piece. That doesn't look bad. The OCD part of my brain wants to make it kind of symmetrical and go like that. Which also is not a bad look. I think Ted would definitely go for it, right? Talk about him like he's a real person. I kind of like the idea of doing little yellow hits, right? Because if you look at the jersey again, okay? If we look at the jersey again, there are little tiny hits of yellow, but they're not everywhere, right? It's not like a big, bold statement, right? We also got to remember something that we did not do. We did not throw a swoosh on this guy. Because this is ideally going to be a Nike shoe, right? We decided we wanted to do a Nike shoe. We haven't yet done a swoosh on this guy. So, let's see here. So I'm not the best at drawing swooshes, so I'm going to see if I can find something to kind of emulate here. Images. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to copy this guy. Nike, please don't sue me. We're just going to paste. Helps if I'm on the right layer. Okay. Holy cow. Okay. My thought here is something that actually goes something like this. Right? Something kind of like that. So let's sketch that in, shall we? Holy cow. It's not perfect. It'll work though. Air Jordan 1s or Nike Dunks, right? The swoosh doesn't actually ever come to a point on those guys. They're kind of fat towards the end, right? Kind of like old people, just kind of fat towards the end. That was mean. Oh my gosh. We gonna get old. We gonna get fat. There ain't gonna be none of this black, white between us. Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing. Okay. And then something that I'm gonna do here is, since we're on our reference layer, I'm gonna erase. Let me get rid of that layer for a second. I'm gonna erase any of our lines from that this guy is overlapping, because I don't want it to. I want the swoosh to be able to fill all the way, because it's gonna be laying over top of everything anyway. So I'm just gonna clean it up. Beautiful. Okay. Not the greatest swoosh, but we will prevail. It's actually not too bad, honestly. And then we're gonna get rid of that. Let's see what it looks like in blue. Okay. How we feel about that? I friggin' love it. Okay. Something like that, right? I like it. And then if we really wanted to, which I kind of do. Come on. Work with me here, bud. Do something like that. Okay? This is not the prettiest of renders, because the sketch was not, you know, oh goodness. I put them on the wrong layer. No wonder it was coming up weird. Okay. There we go. Okay, not too bad. Not too shabby. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start kind of rendering this out. And then for part 3, so next week, I think we're gonna finish it up. I'm gonna show y'all how to do kind of a really, really, really basic tech pack. And we're gonna talk about some other details on the shoe that you're not gonna see on this kind of sketch. Instead, it's gonna be more more typical of kind of just a tech pack, right? Something that the factory is going to see and the factory is going to use. And we're going to talk about details like the outsole and the insole and, you know, the tongue and the laces and this, that, and the other. And we'll be able to put together kind of a tech pack for it. So, yeah, so hopefully that tickles your fancy a little bit. So yeah, let's start rendering this guy out because I really like the way it looks right now. From a color blocking perspective. But I think we can do a little bit more here. Okay, so I'm gonna take this guy and I'm just gonna look at the color block. Okay, so this is what our color blocking looks like. Okay, so I still got all my layers, right? I still got them all. They're all here. They're all okay. So I'm just gonna mess around with this one. I'm gonna call it the render layer. Oh my gosh, come on. Okay. Okay. So, for our render, we're going to be looking at some of these details, and one of the main things that we're going to be looking at is shadowing, kind of creating a realistic experience here. So I kind of want to break these things down into smaller component parts. Okay. So let's take this guy. And take this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and we're gonna group them. And they are going to be our. I'm just gonna get rid of them like that. Okay. And so for this layer, we're gonna do. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. We're gonna start looking at some different components here. Okay. So let's start with. We're gonna do the outsole. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of Oh, goodness. I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to grab this guy. Okay. I'm going to duplicate it over here. Okay. So now we're going to work on this guy a little bit. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab I'm going to just see if I can find a good texture for this outsole here. So now's when we start to think about materials. So for this material, let's see, for this material, I'm thinking we need to go with let's do something. It's gonna be I'm thinking it's going to be like some sort of a foam, kind of a denser foam here. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab this color. Let's see. I need the disc. Okay. We're going to come in here and we're just going to kind of, ooh, hello. Where did that color come from? We're going to come in here and we're just going to give it just a little bit of that texture. Let's airbrush. Okay. And so this is going to give us a little bit of texture and a little bit of shadow, right? All right, so let's think about this for a second. Let's say our light source is shining right at it, right at this part. So as it's curving, right? So like towards the back here, it's going to get more shadowed, right? And then as it's kind of curving towards the front, we're going to get more shadow, right? And then anywhere we have material on top of material, we're going to get a little bit of shadow underneath that. So let's play with that idea for just a second here. So we're going to be lots of shadow here, right? Okay. A little dark. right? So what's going to happen is, so it's called the core shadow, right? So the core shadow is where it's like the darkest, right? Core shadow is going to be towards the edge of, right? The very edge of it, and then the rest is it's gonna kind of gradually go until we get some light, right? And then I'm actually gonna come in with like a lighter. We're gonna kind of lighten up part of it here, right? Okay. And then we got this weird wacky stripe thing going on here. Okay, so I'm gonna come in, I'm with a little bit thinner, and I'm just gonna kind of right there, right? Okay. Now, something that I was kind of imagining for this bubble, okay? And this air bubble is exposed, right? It's very famous. That we would do something really similar, okay? So, what I actually want to do is I want to kind of sketch in some sort of that Air Max 97 kind of flare, right? Or even on this one, right? If you look closely, there's like little air packs in there or something. I don't know what you would call them, but I kind of want to sketch something like that in. So it would help if I had a little bit better color here. Something you could actually see. Oh, that would make sense why I couldn't see it. Come on. Freaking. And flip it. It's gonna kind of look something like that. I'm gonna come in and kind of clean it up just a little bit. Okay. Merge down. Very nice, very nice. Now let's go here. Now, don't worry too much about that part. Kind of doodle this. Let me explain kind of what we got going on here. So we got these this little airbag detail stuff here. Okay. And so these are the parts that are going to be kind of filled with, or that are going to end up being the blue on this. Actually, yeah, that's going to look really cool. Okay. As soon as I kind of figure them out, let's see. Let's get rid of that guy for a second. We're just going to fill these guys in. And then we'll adjust them. Okay. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. I think I'm gonna do these individually. I think that might be more helpful. And I need to rotate them so that they're parallel to the ground. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Something like that. More or less. Yeah, this is the thing about rendering. Okay. First of all, it's not always going to be perfect. In fact, some of the best shoe designers in the world do not draw aesthetically pleasing shoes, right? They're not like aesthetically pleasing pictures of shoes. But they're still incredible designs, right? Like they still work from a design perspective, right? Because designing is not always it's not like designing shoes is not about drawing the prettiest picture, right? Designing shoes is about designing a product that works for the people, right? Works for the consumer. So it's not all like the best shoe designs aren't always like the most aesthetically pleasing designs. They're designs that work well for who they're being made for, right? But I like to think of sneaker design as an art form, and I think it's good. I think it's fun to make really good renders. I'm just not very good at it. We're getting there. It takes a lot of practice, right? all good things do, right? So we're just trying to practice here, and you guys get to be part of it. And to me, that's really cool. And I'm glad that, you know, someone wants to be a part of it. Okay. So we got those. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to fill in. I need to turn my reference back on. I'm going to fill in with whites. Wrong layer. This guy. Okay. All right, it's not the prettiest, but for now it'll do, and it looks very promising. I actually really think that's cool. Okay. So let's go back to this part, and I'm gonna erase some of the excess shadow. Like that. All right. So, I don't know, you know, just keep making the same mistake over and over. So that's fun. Keep erasing part of this that should not be erased. All right. All right, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab the yellow. Okay, I'm gonna grab the yellow, and we're gonna start we're just gonna start messing around with some yellow. Okay, some yellow hits. Whoa, that is too much yellow hits. Okay. Okay. Something like that, right? Okay. I'm gonna clean it up. Okay, now we're gonna grab a gray. Okay, and we're gonna grab our airbrush, right? And we're gonna just kind of start bringing in some main shadows here. Okay. Just on this kind of part here. And then I'm also going to come in with a little bit of a smaller brush, a little bit higher opacity. I'm just gonna kind of come down like this on this part, right? I'm also gonna give it just a tiny bit of texture. Because we do want it to kind of look like it's like raised, right? That actually did a pretty good job. Okay. Oh, that's why. Like, what is going on? Something's kind of bugging me. Again, if you've watched the stream before, you know I can get kind of a little ADHD with some things. And I feel like I gotta fix it right now because it's just bugging me, right? Very typical. Just noticing little details that kind of stick out at you and kind of bug you, right? And it's this little blue outline. When you fill in a color on Procreate, and then you fill it in with like a white or something instead, it kind of does this weird thing where it kind of leaves an outline where your other color was, and it just, yeah, it drives me nuts. I gotta look at that. I gotta figure out what to do with that. Okay. Let's look at some textures here again. I kind of want to do, oh, I don't think that one's the right one. Let's do this one. Just for our outsole, we're going to make it kind of nice and small. And we're going to do it over top of the shadow because you see how, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it kind of creates a little bit of that shadow effect, right? And then when I come over the lighter stuff too, you can see it, right? You can kind of see that texture. It's real subtle. We don't want it to be like too crazy or anything. But it creates like that shadow because the shadow tends to kind of fill in those nooks and crannies, right? Which is, I mean, really good for us, I guess. But we're gonna kind of do the same thing here. We're gonna go just, and we're gonna, actually, let's, and then when we're highlighting, okay, we want to focus the highlight where the light is kind of shining, and it works basically the same way that like shadows do, where you get like that core highlight right there, and then it kind of tapers off, right? It's not the best, but you get the idea, right? So we're gonna come in and it's a little too light almost, right? Okay. What we thinking here? Thinking we need some shadow, just a little bit more. Okay. All right. All right, so I think we're going to move on to our next little bit here. Okay. And I'm thinking we should just kind of do everything kind of together a little bit. Okay. So we're just going to throw in some shadows here. I don't like the lighter gray. I want a darker for this shadow. Right. Also want to come in and add that yellow detail that we had. All right. We're just going to add just kind of our normal shadow, right? Okay. Okay. So something that I kind of struggle with shadows is when I come in and clean this stuff up, right? It's kind of hard to see where the line is sometimes. So that can be kind of a struggle, right? All right. Okay. So far it's looking pretty good. Okay. It looks almost like a shoe. Now we're just gonna kind of shadow in some more of the detailed type of stuff. Okay. And then add some little material flair, and hopefully this will turn out pretty good. I'm not the biggest, so I like trying to be detail oriented. Sometimes I'm just I'm not, and sometimes I kind of bite off a little more than I can chew with some of this stuff. Especially trying to do like a whole shoe in 2 hours. Oh my gosh. So sometimes that can be kind of tough, right? Actually, hold on. Let me. Oh, that's why. Okay. That'll hopefully solve some problems. Little tiny details, right? Okay. Okay, we got our shadow layer. Cool. All right, so now, your pens have arrived. Need something kind of like grayish though, right? Like something like that. Airbrush. Okay. I'm gonna make it real small. Okay, and we're gonna come down. It's even too thick still. Want it nice and thin. Okay, we're gonna make it darker. Oh, jeez. So, I think I'm getting a little too detail oriented right now. I kind of want to just get just a little bit. A little bit more kind of into the I'm kind of struggling today, y'all. I don't know. It's been a weird day. I need to blend. Híjole. You ever have those days where your brain just feels fried just for no reason? And you're just like, what the heck what the heck am I even doing? That's kind of today for me. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of mesh, and we'll call it good for the night, all right? A little bit of yeah, I'm kind of struggling today, so I'm gonna give us a good idea of kind of a rough render for this guy, and then I'll probably have to finish it off stream over the next couple days, and then next week we'll be able to finish it up. Okay. Okay, now just come in and clean it up. Oh, geez, I really screwed up. Yeah, so I'm kind of having just a rough day. I might just finish this off stream. So, yeah, so far this is what it looks like. And hopefully we'll come back next week and we'll have a better day.